January of earlier this year, I decided to commit to using Blender Octane. I wanted to learn Octane. I've used it before, but I never really committed to it. I started in February doing some daily renders, and eventually now we are at the end of the year, December, right? I just wanted to share the love and the journey. Like, guys, me committing to that was extremely hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that I was doing that was extremely frustrating that I couldn't figure out how to do. I go and search to find data about it. There's hardly nothing on YouTube about it, especially particularly for Blender Octane. So I was like, you know what? As I was figuring out how to do things, I was forgetting how to redo them again. And this is a long, painstaking process. So what I started doing was making short little videos, tutorials for myself to remember how to do in particular types of things. So once I started making these little videos and started saving them to YouTube just for myself to as reference so I don't forget how to do certain things, I was like, I read this book called The Diary of a CEO, and in this book he talks about I forgot the name of the law, but it's basically anytime you're trying to learn something, the best way and the fastest way to learn it is by learning it once for yourself and then simplifying the whole process and teaching it to somebody else, so you're reinforcing the learning. Plus, if you have a complex situation and you simplify it for like a 3-year-old or 4-year-old to understand, you truly understand it. So I took that philosophy and it was like, okay, let me give it a shot. I'll make a video about how to add an HDRI in Octane Blender, because at first that was kind of quite difficult. It's not the same as cycles. So once I figured out how to do that, I was like, okay, now how can I make this a really simple short video for somebody new to Blender Octane? And once I did that, I started repeating the process, and it started this whole journey of learning Blender Octane and putting it up on the YouTube channel here for other people who were into Blender Octane. And by that, I started having so many people like, dude, I'm finally somebody who's doing Blender Octane stuff. Thanks for the support. Thanks. Finally somebody's doing Blender Octane stuff, you know? So that was a really big thing for me. But the next problem was, after I started making, some of these videos, I started starting to create my own assets, which if any of you use Blender Octane, you know there's not a lot of stuff and resources out there for us like there are for cycles. I want to be able to share some of these assets with people, so I started putting them on Gumroad for free and like sharing the things out for people. But I was getting a lot of questions, and it was really starting to become hard to answer questions just on YouTube. So I was like, people were like, yo, you need to make a Discord so we can have a community where we can share and talk and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So I started a Discord, and immediately didn't like Discord because I could not upload files that were like not bigger than whatever the limit is. And I'm not a fan of Discord. I don't like its UI. I don't like the way it's set up. Decided to let's make a Facebook group. That would be a little bit better, right? But then again, when you got Facebook groups, you've got algorithms, you got some people's posts weren't getting shown, and I was like, no, this is not right. Okay, so I was trying to figure out where can I build a community that's kind of like where I can put up courses like Patreon, okay, because I gotta pay for Patreon. I want to put stuff on Gumroad. I want to have the Facebook community like vibes. So I decided to put everything in Skool. And if you're not familiar with Skool, it's absolutely fantastic. It's like taking Patreon, Gumroad, Facebook, Discord, and putting it all in a nice, clean package. I'm talking, I can have courses inside in my community that are, laid out like a course module style setup. And then for those of you who want, you can sell those courses independent of your community. Then on top of that, I've got a Facebook-like feed for members to post their comments, pin comments. We can upload files, up to 100 megabytes. And if it's bigger than that, we just upload a G link or a Google link or something like that. We can input pictures. We can have different categories. On top of that, we gamify our community. We can see who's the most, who commits the most as far as comments and stuff like that. There's a ranking system. And then on top of that, I can set up a calendar and have live sessions, and I can schedule this out. Everybody can see. It's just like the ultimate community package. For those of you who are interested in, monetization, and it's hard to get monetized on YouTube. It takes a lot. It's like it's just a pain to to try to, as a beginner, trying to generate some income, especially like if you're into Blender or something. Everybody in Blender basically starts their Patreon, and that's kind of like, yeah, all you're doing is just putting up videos, and it's like, give me money for videos. You're not really building a community. There is a new community function in Patreon, but it's not robust. I've tried it and it's nothing compared to what I'm using on Skool. On that flip side, if you're interested in trying to make some type of monetization or money off your community, you don't need a minimum requirement. I'm able to charge a monthly subscription through my community and get paid. So I started my channel in February. Now it does cost money for this. It costs $100, but check it out. Listen to me, hear me out. I started in February. I was paying $100. For 2 months, I built my community up. Advertise, hey, come and join my community for free. You guys can join for free. Built it up. Got to the point where I was like, I cannot afford to do this anymore. $100 a month. I did it for 2 months and I couldn't afford to do it anymore. So I was like, you know what? I was up front with my community. At that time, I had about 150 members, and I told them, guys, I can't afford this. I'm gonna kill the community, but I can keep it if I charge a small fee. I was charging at the beginning $5 a month. If anybody was interested in staying, $5 a month, is this worth it to you guys? And I was shocked that I had literally enough people to pay $80. So I went from paying $100 to $80 a month because of the people who decided to join. So from there, I kept providing value in my community, giving more assets, building up, making videos exclusively for them. Kind of like a one-on-one. You can talk with me, we can talk with each other. We built a tight-knit community. We're all helping each other out at the same time. And as that started to grow, that started to grow. Next thing you know, I'm like $50 a month. Okay, I was only paying $50 because I started getting members. So finally, long story short, as of December 8th, I think it's December 8th right now, I'm generating about $285 monthly recurring revenue, meaning monthly about 298. I'll show you guys the results. I'll show you the proof here. Minus, and then you got to minus $100 because it costs $100 to run the community. But this is just the first year, guys. This is not me doing Patreon of me doing this. At the moment, I'm charging $15 a month for the community. $15 or $10, I can't remember. I'll show but the whole point is I'm able to maintain a community based off of what I'm doing. I'm able to generate income off of something that I love doing, and I'm learning Blender Octane even faster now because of all my members in my community. We're all sharing the love, we're all sharing resources, we're all sharing the knowledge. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And the reason I'm making this video is because I see so many people on the same boat, on the same train, put up the Patreon video and do this, and I feel for them because they're not maximizing their potential as a community, as generating income, doing something you like doing. This is the future. This is the way right now. And a lot of people don't know about it because it's new. And this is actually something that a lot of big money makers who make serious cash. I mean, there's communities in here who are charging thousands of dollars a month to be members in their community. I'm like a guppy in a pond of money making sharks and whale sharks and whales, like serious. But I just wanted to share this journey because I've been at it since February, and I'm like, this is just my first year. What's gonna happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, right? Obviously you can tell from the way this video is shot. This video was literally impulse. Like, I'm on my morning walk, I thought about this. I'm like, man, this has been a journey. I was looking at, since February I started, I was paying $100 a month to do this, and now at the end of the year I'm thinking like, man, it's so close, almost close to a year. I'm almost doubling what I was doing. I was negative 100. Now I'm positive 198 at the end of my first year. I've only been doing this for almost about 8 months. Minus 8 months because the first 2 months I was doing it for out of my pocket. You gotta put in the work. You gotta put something on the table if you want to play, right? So I'm just doing this to share with you guys the potential that you guys have to grow as a Blender user, or whatever your vibe is, or whatever your passion is. I'll have the links down below here. It'll be a link that connects me with the Skool platform. I'm not gonna lie, I also get a kickback. Everybody does these days, right? And you can do the same. You make your community, you put your link out, you'll get a kickback also too, right? So it's a win-win for everybody. Plus you're still getting, my kickback doesn't come out of whatever you're doing, it comes from Skool, right? But the whole point of this is start building your community, start building a passion, and start making some money, man. It's hard living out here right now. It ain't getting any cheaper, right? I'm gonna end on that note. Links down below.